Hello and welcome to The Relevance of Now with William Linville. My name is Michael Connell. Hey, William.
Hey, Michael, how are you, my good friend?
Doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well and having a lot of fun and just running with all the unfoldments that are unveiling themselves all around.
Yes, yes, yes. Today, the topic of meditation came up. And when it comes to meditation, how would you describe the purpose of meditation?
To me, meditation is a place that you take a breath and you take yourself into. You're stepping out of all the busyness and preoccupations and externalized stimulation for a few moments. You're stepping out of it to literally let yourself become more connected with yourself. And what I mean by that is where you end up during the process, through the process, you start clearing all the old thought forms, all the old dialogues, conversations. You start really stepping out of all those doors that have been opened up within your consciousness, your psyche. All these conversations and dialogues, and may have been last week, may have been the week before, it may have been a couple hours prior, to where you're stepping out of it and you're allowing all those doors to close, to bring yourself right here, right now, wide awake, fully alert, right here, right now, in the relevance of the now. And I say it's the relevance of the now. And the reason why it's called that is because it really comes to reconnecting with yourself and the relevance, the importance, the creator facet of you, no longer in the future, no longer in the past, no longer being tugged on, pulled on. And we're breaking energy and somewhat like taking a break from all the thought patterns, positive, negative, or in between, taking a break from all the magnetic hooks and identifications to where now it's like you're taking a bath or a shower underneath the most beautiful waterfall from the whole universe and becoming purified, divinitized, connected, reconnected, and basically able now to open up and then eventually just getting refocused, but now without internalizing, now without putting all these walls up, fight and flight, and all these fun things. The adrenals are able to restabilize and turn off the adrenaline. Your organs in the body are able to literally, it's almost like they take a deep sigh as they start becoming more and more regenerated, more and more accelerated, more and more to where the liver is not tied up and locked up. No, it's able to breathe now. It's able to release now, but it's also just as quick able to regenerate now. The hair follicles, the muscles, ligaments, tendons, nerves, lungs, kidneys, gallbladder, and liver, all the way through the pancreas and the spleen. And all these areas are just really able to turn the corner now and start really going right into the energy engine of the body, which is behind the sternum internally, but it's also where the B and the T cells were starting to reignite again. And we're also starting to reignite and also starting to receive more and more of our youth vitality chromosomes, including new telomere. Because now we're no longer chipping away, and being ran, even body consciousness wise, through the whole perceivable linear time clock. And it's not so much about today, tomorrow, the next day. It's more like situation circumstances that are chipping away at the telomere and creating the appearance of the whole idea of aging, which technically it's just really the breakdown of the body. And now we're able to open up. Now we're able to get a breath of our own and now starting to switch tracks to where now we're receiving new thought forms, but now more so from you, the real you, rather than the mass collective thought particles. No longer locked into the genealogy of the family, no longer locked into the zodiac calendar and your time of birth and astrology. Now it's like a total game changer because now we're becoming more you, no longer based in all these old philosophies or mechanisms. It's fun to play with here and there, but it's so interesting. And because it's like a measurement. How much any longer is all that linear stuff, time of birth, month, sign, whatever. Now you start to wake up from it to where, it just no longer applies to you because you supersede, you expand, you accelerate well beyond it.
What I heard you say is
Mhm.
the purpose of meditation is to take five from the past and future perspectives, thought forms, and it allows your body to regenerate itself just by being in the now moment without any thoughts. So the body, what I heard you say is the body will automatically start regenerating itself. And then additionally, in this stillness of meditation, in the now moment, you have the opportunity to receive clarity from your true self.
And where you're no longer being pushed and pulled upon, even magnetically, energetically, emotionally, because it's also your freedom where it's like you take off all the mask, you take off all the disguises, and you really start unveiling and speeding up and unfolding and expanding as quickly as you can handle for your highest and best good. So, just for a moment, Michael, let's just sit here just for a moment. Let's see what it's like just to sit right here and to think of nothing. And just how's your body beginning to respond? How much more lively? And also, definitely, welcoming back all of our energy, all of our power, all of our soul fragmentations cleared and purified. Where right here, right now, nothing is real outside and around you. And I find this so interesting where we're in one room, that's all that exists. Or maybe we're outside, and the only thing that is you perceive to be real is only that in which you see. No longer work yesterday, no longer work tomorrow, no longer XYZ. It is truly the only thing at all that exists. You cannot prove anything else. You are not feeling yesterday or tomorrow. So therefore, it's not real. But right here, right now, we just start to feel the body, how it accelerates, how it starts to have the ability now to regenerate, how it starts to become just more and more relaxed, open, receptive, as well as expansive. Right now, your partners, maybe your relationships, friendships, camaraderiships, right here, right now, they don't even exist. Not from a state of a lack. It's just they're not right there in front of you, so therefore they're not real. Just an old echo, an old dimensional experience based in the mental emotional level to where right now, right here, your family monads don't exist. Abundance doesn't exist. And part I love about this, Michael, is as we're going here, we start to receive more and more data information that is conducive. And also right here, right now, everything is resetting. Everything's now able to regenerate. Everything here is able to accelerate just with more and more ease and grace. But the part I love also is that there's no baggage, there's no constructs, there's no fear. Right here, right now, There's no suppressed emotions and on and on and on. Right now, the body is being, and same with the mind. The mind's going through regeneration as well, being assisted to switch tracks into now a lot more pleasure, a lot more communion, a lot more camaraderie, even with your angelic, archangelic, ascended host realms, your entourage, and where you can even feel right now in your body, the body opening up, speeding up, recalibrating, and regenerating, as well as you can begin to feel all the presences right here, right now, all around you. Because see, now we're not being inundated. We're not holding on to thoughts. We're not holding on to justifications, definitions of a self. We just are the self in which you've been seeking for.
Yes. In my journey with meditation, one of the first big benefits of meditation and why I still do it today is it allowed me to feel my true self. It made it real. So even when you share about marriage of the higher and lower, well, it made me be able to feel my true self compared to that my body and my thoughts were totally separate. Can you speak more about that?
Yeah, what's happening in that state is that you're starting to separate yourself from the mind. You have a mind, and how blessed we are, but right now you're starting to separate yourself to start to realize that you have a mind, but you're not the mind. You start to realize that you have a body, but you're definitely not the body either. So now we have a threefold: your body, your mind, and you. And then what happens is it's like opening up a dam where the water can run through, which is you coming into the body and coming into within and through and even behind the mind. To where now the mind, which is created to work for you, not against you. But now we have the mind as a clear slate right now, even the body as a clear slate. You'll start to feel gurgling and all that fun stuff with the acid bath in the tummy resetting itself. And we're from here where we're able to take a breath, emanate, open up, including amplifying. Where right now, everything, all the noise, all the projections, all the perceptions are way, way out away from you. I'll call it identifications. We can call repressed emotions, resentments, whatever it may be for yourself personally. Feast or famine, fight or flight, all those sensations right here, right now, we just pulled the plug on. And the cool thing about it is that now, when we open our eyes and we look around, well, by going here, now you're letting the rest of yourself, your manifest levels, your creator levels, come in, come forth, even your entourage come in and come forth all around you to start creating long-term beneficial change in your exponential world.
Mm.
Out with the old and out with all the stuff that literally doesn't complement you, literally doesn't work for you. And in with all the unfoldments, now new dear ones coming in, we're no longer holding on to anyone or anything. And we're making more and more room for you to come in and to come forth with just more and more and more fluidity, ease, and grace. And right now, where we're not perceivably attached to anything, which doesn't mean denying what you enjoy. It means that your home, your car, maybe your dress, your jewelry, is where you really, really start to become aware that you may have a car, you may have a home, you may have jewelry, you may have a certain costume, you may have XYZ that you enjoy, but now you have it. Now it does not own you. It's
Right.
not who you are. It's a token outside of yourself. Even when it comes to the body, when you become so identified with the body is who you are, it's got to look this way, that way, the other way. So now I can feel attractive or not. Well, what happens when we even outgrow that to where muscles or whatever it may be, where that doesn't even have the ability to hold you anymore
Right.
or to continue?
William, in my journey, I found meditation to be a vital tool to use to practice feeling my true self so I could do it more and more throughout the day. And is meditation required as a tool in order to ascend vibratorily and also build a relationship with your true self?
Well, it's a funny one because to answer your question directly, no. It's absolutely different for everyone. You may be out at a casino, you may be out fishing, you may be walking through nature on a hike, you may be up in the mountains just observing from the highest peak all the land, or going to wild animal park or the zoo or whatever. However, it's really dependent because for many, that would be the most powerful meditation for them because they're admiring, they're not internalizing, they're admiring, they're not overthinking it, they're not trying to make it something that it's not. And they're in a state of bliss and enjoyment. They're in a state of awe. Now, there's quadrillions of ways because there's quadrillions of dear ones on the planet. It's just for yourself. Many struggle when they sit down and try to turn off the mind. They create a polarized, a dualized, it's almost like going to battle with the mind, and you're not going to win. With the ego, that's something totally separate and different. But because you have a mind as your friend, because you have a body that is your friend, let's not go into trying to force something, because every time you try to force something, you're creating two opposing sides. You move a step forward, it moves a step back. You move a step back, it moves a step forward. To where you've created this duality and polarity and getting all worked up because, well, when's it finally going to happen or whatever, whatever. Well, let's all be clear. You've already happened. Now we take a breath, we break energy with all these different complicated webs of streams of thought, streams of identities. Then from here, where we arise above it, which now it could be as simple as just laying on the back, on the ground, or on a cot, or on the earth, whatever, looking up at the star systems or the sky or the clouds. It's all around you. That's a whole different form of meditation. And like I said, you could be on a slot machine in Vegas, just you and that slot machine. You're hitting buttons. The mind's not running. Oddly enough, for some, that's their quiet place.
Right.
Now, there's many things that play out here, like many dear ones, unfortunately, get caught up in a dance, which is a backdoor to the ego, where, okay, my guides are telling me this, that, and the other, and telling me to do this, do that. Well, let's all be clear here. Your guides will never tell you what to do.
Right.
That's the backdoor that the ego is now becoming your parent. And many go try to meditate and then they're looking for answers and solutions. I want to be clear again. That's just the mind and the head still involved to where you've never left the headspace to go into you.
Right. one of the purposes of meditation is it can be a tool for us to connect to our true self. And you were talking about not trying to force anything and allow uh, our higher levels of ourselves, um, the opportunity to start communicating with us.
Exactly.
That seems that's the main benefit purpose that I've used meditation for. And through meditating more regularly than each year, whatever time frame, it's easier and easier to be in that place while I'm at work, while I'm driving in the car, anywhere.
Exactly, exactly. It's kind of like once again, stepping out of all the busyness, stepping out of action, reaction, stepping out of all these different levels, all these different states that are pushing, pulling, tugging, and all this other stuff. And stepping out of everything just to take a breath within yourself, connecting with yourself. And then, oddly enough, connecting with your higher levels, your guidance realms, that's more of a feeling, not an emotion. It's not the head seeking for blah, 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 blah. It's interesting because even the mind knows who you are, and the body knows who you are. Now, you're waking up with a mind and a body. You're waking up from a mind, from the body, to start really seeing, feeling once again, and experiencing more of you, which is not a good, bad, or right or wrong way. It's easier when you're doing something that brings you pleasure. Some dear ones are into being, but even when you're into being, it's kind of an oxymoron because you're still doing because you're being. So, so it's one of those interesting things. It may be a walk on the beach at sunset or sunrise or in between, something just you. And I don't want to make it sound like it has to be nature because it could also be the bowling alley for all that matters.
Right.
It's really dependent upon what brings you joy.
Yes. Well, and meditation has helped me in connecting to my true self, knowing what I enjoy based on feeling rather than thinking.
Exactly, exactly. And it
Yeah.
makes you more sensitive as well as more intuitive as well as more heightened.
Right. Yeah. And also the ability to that things don't have to be so logical based on my mind. They can be, when connecting to my true self, I always feel like if it feels good, then that this infinite intelligence that is me, that knows exactly what's right for me or what I love, is going to be my best resource or guide uh, of how best I can love and enjoy this life right now.
Absolutely. And when you go further into it, I mean, there's intuition. And this is one that dear ones get confused about the language a little bit, which affects the feeling of it. Like right now, that you and I be instinctive. And can you feel the resistance and the tightness there? Now, so let's toss that to the side. And now let's go into intuitive. Can you feel the creativity? But I say creativity, but it's more like a welcoming as well as an expression. It's softer, it's more fluid,
Yes.
it's more natural. Instinct is a survival mechanism. That's all about survival. Intuition is about creativity, openness, acceleration, where you're now becoming more heightened and more sensitive of things to where you could intuit the situation, not making someone good, bad, or indifferent, but as you feel it all the way through.
What about knowingness?
A knowingness is where you're in a state of a total wide open state of a total direct connect state to where now you're starting to honor, you're starting to embody, you're starting to accept that you right here, right now, are and always has been creator expressing through carnate, where we can go to the left, we can go forward, we can go to the right, but where, regardless of which direction we go, it's that you know that it's still you. You know that all is well. You have a knowing that's not shakable, not contemplatable, is not polarized. It's instantaneous knowingness and connection with all it is. Or we can call it your creator consciousness, your higher levels, whatever words best accommodate you. But it's an ease and grace that's bubbling up as fluidness. There's no sharpness, there's no yanking around, no belittling, no pedestals. You just are a creator with the oneness of all of yourself. Not oneness that you're one with the wall in your room or the granite fireplace or whatever, because that is consciousness, but it's programmed for a certain job and behavior. But where I'm not you, you're not me, now we both are facets of creator. But I have my walk to walk as you have yours, but it's where I'm not you, you're not me. It means that, Michael, if I go out and deliberately harm you, technically, I'm truly more than anyone harming myself because I'm putting up walls, I'm putting up polarities, and now I'm creating by default to where now I'm going to have a lot of carnality experiences playing out, which in turn would be me giving my power to you to where I no longer feel myself because I'd be going against myself.
Wow. Thank you, William. Thank you for this clarity about meditation, its purpose, some of the benefits, why it can be a complementary tool to assisting us in ascending, enjoying our lives, getting clarity of what we truly love, and so much more.
And thank you, Mr. Michael, and great job. And we love you and we honor you. Namaste.
Namaste. This has been The Relevance of Now with William Linville. Please click subscribe. Join us next time.